Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Courage Zone. My name is Sergio. By now, you have not only heard my trailer, but you have also heard my first official podcast. I will continue to share my story and how I am a survivor of CSA. So far, my listeners have given me a positive feedback on both podcasts and the encouragement to keep on going. I've also had a few people who have said they're in shock that this is the life I lived. They didn't know. Well, I guess I hit it very well. I'd like to read you once again my disclaimer. This podcast may discuss sensitive topics, including childhood sexual abuse. Listener discretion is advised. This podcast discusses experiences of abuse, violence, suicidal ideations, and childhood sexual abuse, which may be distressing or triggering to some listeners. The content provided is for informational and educational purposes only, and it is not a substitute for professional advice. So if you know someone that needs support, please seek help from a qualified professional or contact your local helpline in your area. Now on to my story. During my teenage years, like I mentioned before, I was heavily into drugs, alcohol, smoking cigarettes, and getting into trouble. I never thought about the future and how all this would affect me, health-wise, mental. It was the only place I felt safe when I was hanging around with my friends. I hated going home, and I often stayed at a friend's place just so I wouldn't go home and face more abuse. It crossed my mind on many occasions to run away from home. But then again, I had no substantial amount of money to be able to do that. I felt stuck in so many ways. I was angry. I was alone. I was not feeling safe. And I felt like a total loser who was broken inside and out, and I had no one to talk to about this. Once again, my life had been threatened, and my sperm donor would kill me if I said anything to anybody. Now, the question that comes to me all the time is, how does a parent threaten a child for something that they're doing wrong? I have no answers to this question. I'm baffled. And the other question is, how does a mother allow it to happen? A mother can't be that blind to what is going on in your own home. Well, my birth mother was not blind. She chose to ignore what was going on in her house. She even took on a second job so she wouldn't be in the house to see or hear what was going on. For the first 16 years of my life, I thought I was adopted. My so-called parents told me and reminded me every day that I was adopted. Why, you ask? Well, I was born with red hair, and my siblings had black hair. I had freckles, and lots of them, and they didn't. So all this made me feel different, aside from being abused every day, which I hated happening to me. Now, I know today you're looking at me, and one, I don't have any hair, and two, you don't see freckles. And that's because when I came to Canada at the age of 7.5, shortly thereafter, I don't know what it was, whether it's the winters or the air. I don't know what it was, but slowly my hair started turning black. So that's what you see today. Now, anger is what I carried with me all the time, even today. I still carry this anger towards my birth parents for not protecting me. I've been told on occasions that I should let this anger go. And I agree. But who am I without it? Will I still have a sense of purpose? Or will I have a new sense of purpose? The big thing is, who am I without this anger? I don't know. What hasn't gone away yet also is the feeling of being broken. A feeling of not being a man due to CSA. And I'm not sure if I'll ever feel complete, but I'll be trying. And the other item is that it feels like I have something written on my forehead showing how broken I am. So when people are staring at me, those are the thoughts that I'm thinking of. Those are the thoughts that cross my mind. Dealing with anger after experiencing such trauma is incredibly challenging. It is important to remember that healing is a gradual process, and seeking support from a friend's, family, or a mental health professional can make a significant difference. Finding healthy outlets for your emotions, such as therapy, support groups was big for me. I started it about 4 years ago, and let me tell you, I felt a sense of belonging when I was in these groups, and these are weekly sessions that we were having, and I was looking forward to them just because of that sense of belonging. You could also look to creative activities, can be beneficial. You deserve to have support and understanding as you navigate this difficult journey. When I was about to turn 17, I realized that I was big enough and strong enough to stop what was happening. This time, when he came into my room, I grabbed a lamp and I threatened him with it. I told him that he was no longer wanted or allowed in my room. Keep in mind that my little brother also slept in that same room. So the next time he attempted to come in, I told him that I would break this lamp over his head. Now you can imagine he was not happy of what I said and how I said it, but I didn't care. He started to raise his voice at me and yell at me and telling me that I can't talk to him this way and he deserves respect. Respect. Funny how he used that word. He had no respect for anybody, no human life. I gave him an angry look back, and I responded to him saying, I'll talk to you as I see fit. If you don't like it, that's just too bad. You don't deserve respect. I said, if you don't like it, go on. Hit me. I dare you to hit me. Give me a reason. Because I will hit you back, and I'm not going to stop. So go. Throw that first punch. I want you to throw that first punch. Sorry. He stared at me with his usual angry look and walked away. He never came back into my room. I had stopped the cycle. The only thing I was feeling was anger. after that verbal confrontation, and that was because I wanted him to hit me. Like he had done on numerous occasions before, without any hesitation. And sometimes for the stupidest reasons. He would slap me around, punch me around, throw me around. But for some reason, this time it was different. I guess he just saw the anger in my eyes, like looking in a mirror. And since I was taller than him, I wouldn't say bigger than him in the sense of weight-wise, because he was a heavy mother, but he was a big man. The verbal and physical abuse continued, though. The physical abuse started with my birth mother. She would hit me, even if I was 5 minutes late for my curfew. Then she would also threaten me that she was going to tell my sperm donor. I didn't care, and I told her as such. I don't care. Go ahead. Hit me all you want, I always told her. Because you know why? I stopped fearing them. I stopped loving them years ago. I stopped respecting them years ago. And I stopped being their son. When the opportunity arose, I left home, and I never looked back. My first wife was, when I met my first wife, I was roughly 18, and we got married at 23, at least when I was 23. I avoided at all costs to go back home for visits. Even if I did, it would be for maybe a Christmas one year, a birthday for another, but I would only stay for an hour or two and then leave. My first wife didn't know about my past and the abuse I absorbed through the years. I was not ready to talk about it, and she never gave me the feeling of being safe. A feeling that she was interested in my life, nor did she ever ask me questions about my life. I guess that goes with the fact that she didn't like my parents. I didn't blame them. But I would like to point out that as an adult, I am often asked, why don't you have a relationship with your parents? They are your parents, you know. They brought you in this world. They raised you. And you only have one mother and one father. Bull. I am never asked what could have your parents have done to you that forced you to make that decision not to have them in your life. No one has ever said, how could your parents abuse you this way? I don't have the answer to these questions. But as a child, I didn't have a choice. I had no power to control anything. Based on the fact who my birth parents were and the poor decisions they made, how they raised us all, I can honestly say that I have been better off not having them in my life. Even now as an adult, I'm still better off not having them around. I know I get that a lot in the sense of, but they're your parents. You gotta love them. No, I don't gotta do anything. As the saying goes, you know, you can pick your friends, but you can't pick your family. However, in my situation, my life, I've picked my family. And while they are friends as well, they're family. And we treat each other as such, like family. So imagine a life of no family stress or drama, no fighting with your siblings because your mother orchestrated it. Just like living in peace and enjoying life as it should be. Well, this is the life I imagined, and I'm now having. I think in certain scenarios, it is acceptable to rid of not only the negative people in your life, but also the toxic ones as well. Now, I want to point out that this is just my opinion. This is how I feel based on how my life has come about. I'm better off without them. And I don't think twice about it. I don't have any regrets about the decisions I've made to cut everyone off. I just don't. And over the years, I've had people say, it must be lonely not having them around. At the beginning, it was. But as time went by, that loneliness disappeared. I want you to keep in mind something that, you can miss somebody, and you may want to have contact with that individual, but that feeling goes both ways. It doesn't matter if it's a brother, a sister, a mother, a father, they got to want you as much as you want them, or vice versa, right? Because they say your parents are your parents, and your parents love you no matter what you do. You can kill somebody, your parents still love you. That's fine and dandy, but actions speak louder than words. And I think that's where I got all this stuff that, actions do speak louder than words. Once in a while I'll be doing something or watching TV, and I'll tell you, those feelings will return. They come back, and sometimes they haunt me for a bit. And I'm talking about the fact that, my blood family, let's call it, I don't have them around. Once again, I don't have any regrets with the decisions I've made, including getting rid of all the toxic people in my life. Anyway, I'd like to move on now to and basically talk about the inner child and healing that child. Healing from childhood sexual abuse is a complex and sensitive process that often involves addressing the wounded inner child. It is essential to approach this journey with compassion, patience, and professional support. Therapy, particularly trauma-informed therapy, can provide a safe space to explore and heal these wounds. The inner child represents the emotional and psychological aspects of ourselves. They were formed during childhood. For survivors of CSA, this inner child may carry deep pain, shame, and confusion. Now, here are some general suggestions for healing that inner child. Therapy. Work with a therapist experienced in trauma and abuse. I know that I needed that. They can also help you navigate the emotions and memories, providing guidance and support tailored to your needs. Self-compassion. Practice self-compassion by acknowledging and validating your emotions. Treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer a friend going through a difficult time. Inner child work. Engage in inner child work through visualization, or otherwise exposure therapy, journaling, or creative expression. Connect with your younger self, offer comfort, and work towards building a sense of safety. Boundaries. Establish and reinforce your healthy boundaries in your current relationships. Learning to set and communicate boundaries are crucial for your well-being. Mindful and grounding techniques. Practice mindful and grounding exercises to stay present, manage overwhelming emotions. Techniques like deep breathing, meditation, and grounding exercises can be helpful. Educate yourself. Learn about the effects of trauma on the brain and the body. Understanding the impact of CSA can empower you in your healing journey. Support system. Very important. Surround yourself with a supportive network of friends, family, and support groups. Having a safe and healthy community can be instrumental in your healing process. Reestablishing healthy boundaries after experiencing CSA is a challenging but crucial process for survivors. Now, here are also some consideration. Therapeutic support. Seek the help of a qualified therapist who specializes once again in trauma and abuse. Professional support is essential for survivors to navigate their experiences and process emotions and develop coping mechanisms. Empowerment. Focus on empowering the survivor to regain control of their life. Encourage them to make choices and decisions that prioritize their well-being and safety. Education. Provide information about healthy relationships and boundaries. Help the survivor understand what constitutes appropriate or inappropriate behavior, both in personal relationships and within society. Self-compassion. Foster a sense of self-compassion. Survivors often struggle with feelings of shame and guilt. Encourage them to practice self-care and understand that they deserve love and respect. Building a support system. Surround the survivor with a supportive network of friends, family, and professionals. Having people who believe and validate their experiences is crucial for healing. Communication skills. Help the survivor develop effective communication skills. This includes expressing their needs, setting boundaries, and advocating for themselves in various aspects of life. Gradual exposure. Gradually expose the survivor to situations that involve healthy physical and emotional boundaries. This process should be paced accordingly to their comfort level, allowing them to regain a sense of control. Establishing trust. Rebuilding trust, both in oneself and in others, is a key component of healing. Encourage the survivor to trust their instincts and gradually build trust in relationships with trustworthy individuals. Encourage self-expression. Art, journaling, or any other forms of self-expression can be powerful tools for survivors to process their emotions and experiences. Encourage them to find healthy outlets for self-expression. At the end of the day, what I'm doing, podcasting, in regards to my story, my life, it's actually a form of self-expression. This is out of my comfort zone. I didn't know how receptive people were going to be, but at the end of the day, I had to do this in order to heal and continue that healing process. The last one is respect their pace. Everyone heals at their own pace. Respect the survivor's timeline for reestablishing boundaries, recovering from the trauma. Patience and understanding are crucial during this process. Remember that the journey of healing is unique for each survivor. Tailor your support to your individual needs, and always prioritize your safety and well-being. Professional guidance and support should be ongoing, as healing is a continuous process. This is the end of episode 2. Thank you for listening. And in the meantime, take care.